A black woman was shocked that her family once owned slaves. Recently, Alex Scott, a British TV host, went on a program to find out about her family lineage. What she found out is that her great-great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owner in Jamaica. Finding that out was very emotional for her. She thought she'd find out that her ancestors were oppressed, but it turned out they were the oppressors. She went on to say that you don't hear many stories about black people owning slaves. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think history lessons tend to focus on white people, and in particular, white men, as being the oppressors? For thousands of years, right up until today, slavery has existed, and every race and ethnicity have both been slaves and slave owners. A tiny amount of research would confirm that for anyone who is unaware. They say that if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. So why do the people who control educating our kids not want to talk about the fact that white people were not alone in the practice of slavery? If every race has been guilty of oppression, and every race has been the victim of oppression, then the color of our skin becomes less important. That's why black slave owners are rarely talked about. The powers that be need to keep us divided by race, and one of the ways they do that is by not teaching a complete history of our country or the world. Now, one of the results of selectively teaching history is that the Democrats get votes. It motivates people of color to vote for the party who says they're going to right the wrongs they've suffered. But there is a second result that is horrendous, and that's the fact that so many black people feel disempowered. An antonym for the word empowered is disenfranchised, a word that is often used when Democrats accuse Republicans of trying to deprive blacks of the right to vote, which is actually something that was only ever done by Democrats. Again, a simple bit of research would confirm that for those of you who are unaware. So, how are Democrats disenfranchising black people? They're depriving many of them from having the ability and or the motivation to improve their own lives. The Democrat-run schools are poorly educating them, while at the same time teaching them that the hand they've been dealt is too much for them to overcome, never pointing out the fact that Democrats are the ones dealing out the hands. In the places where blacks are struggling the most, Democrats have been in power for decades. Our country has changed. We no longer live in a time where Americans fix their own problems. Most people turn to the government when things get tough, and that's even when the government is responsible for things getting tough. The reason Democrats want to keep the struggle alive is because a content population has no need for more government intervention. And as long as they can blame your struggles on someone else, they'll keep us divided and angry. They also tell us that the rich don't pay their fair share in taxes, or that women don't get paid equally to men for doing the same work. These are all politically designed lies to cause division and to motivate people to vote for more government control. In fact, everything the left goes on about is designed to create a bigger, more powerful government that they intend to be in charge of. Climate change and COVID are great examples. They tell us those issues can only be solved by us sacrificing our liberties and letting the government tell us what we can and can't do. They've convinced many Americans that believing in the Constitution and the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness just means that you are a selfish person. The fact is, Democrats are okay with black people feeling disempowered. They're okay with black people being uneducated. They're okay with black people burning down their own communities, looting stores, and killing each other. Why? Because the ends justify the means. The only way Democrats can gain complete control over our lives is if they can convince enough of us to give it to them. And the more miserable you are, the more likely you will turn to the government for help. And that's the simple truth. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you all want to support this channel, check out the links in the description and let's keep putting some common sense back into the great debate.